Empty bottles of red wine laying on the floor from last night. We got a little drunk, yeah. Now I'm a little numb. Spending hours by your bedside, talking till it's dark out somehow. Can get you off my.
Hello.
Hola.
Welcome back to Smack Cackle Talk. I am your host, Lacey.
And I am Monica.
And this is Hot Topic Tuesday. And I know y'all see that title.
You trying to be a troll today?
So I'm going to say ahead of time, I have a lot of white friends
You sound like those white people that say, but I got black friends because I'm not racist. So I'm not racist.
I have a lot of white friends on my page, and this is not to target to say negative things about you. So, but if you take offense, that is not my intent. Moving right along. My topic is white is right.
Or not.
White is right. And so in the description, I ask, is white right?
Okay.
Okay, so that is the topic of today. Now, I will say in advance, if anybody decides to comment on this post, let's just kind of state facts, but not be totally disrespectful.
No.
You did be disrespectful. You are.
Don't be disrespectful. You can make your point and not be disrespectful.
They be disrespectful, we're gonna have a problem. Slap the shit out their ass. How about that?
Oh. Okay. Simmer down. Simmer down.
But at the same time, what can I say?
I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And the truth hurts. So, the topic of today for today's Hot Topic Live, white is right. Is white right?
Why do you sound like a teacher?
I am saying it like this because some people don't know how to differentiate the sounding of words. So, white with a W is right with an R.
So did you know what I was about to say?
Is white with a W, right with an R.
Repeating yourself and get to the topic.
Where you got to go?
Calm down.
You sit over there and turn your game down.
Okay, right, exactly.
You told me to hold on before I was talking to Monica. You told me to hold on.
Oh, he can't wait.
So I'm trying to tell you what news came out.
You probably already know. I'm not going to say I definitely know.
You probably do know now because everything you stated so far is what's came out so far. Mm-hmm. So hurry up, Nisha. Mm-hmm. Get to the point.
He said hurry up. He didn't say hurry up. He said hurry up. Hurry up.
That's just like Ice Cube said when he said get your ass up and hurry up.
So, yeah.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm just seeing some new news. Okay, that's all. I don't even know why that popped up in my feed. So I am referring to the stabbing incident that happened with
Carmelo Anthony.
Carmelo Anthony. That is his name, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Carmelo Anthony stabbing the white student at the track meet. Okay, the twin brother of another student at the track meet. Okay, so I am saying this because a lot of stuff is starting to surface, and this Carmelo Anthony is being shunned in a negative light, and everybody's ignoring
Facts.
Wait,
facts.
pause. When it first came out, they made it seem like this young man was just a hoodlum, basically. Like he was just this little black boy that beat this boy up because he told him to move from under this tent that was not from his school. And they just made it seem like he stabbed him, and that was it.
But
Okay, and the story and the story that I got was incomplete. The story that I got was a black student was asked to move, and
Misha.
no one knows
Look,
why.
I'm here today.
But he stabbed him.
I'm the information guy. Come on now, let me do my job.
Can
So-
I do the introduction for
You don't pass that already.
I'm
trying to get you started.
You know, damned is this if this my show, y'all.
Misha,
I'm just saying.
look, you're right. The little kid, they like Monica said, they were trying to make him out what he wasn't. He's a 4.0 student. He stabbed a dude.
But
The tents were up.
You finna slew through this information.
I know, so you could embellish on it.
But he's given a nutshell so we can come back and
Yeah,
dissect.
so
We
you-
would have got back with that.
Uh-uh.
Okay, go.
So the tents were put up for the athletes.
Mhm.
Carmelo was an athlete. These two boys were not athletes. They were just there on the field
That happened to go to that school.
that went to that school. They were trying to bully him into leaving the tent.
But Carmelo was friends with some of the track team that he was competing against, which is
Correct.
why he was under that tent talking to them.
Correct. And then they commenced to trying to jump him, which they didn't put that in, and so
Right.
it was self-defense.
In both stories that I read, they didn't put that in there. That came out later.
So now, because it's a lot of people, especially for lack of better words, it's like especially the racist ass people saying, well, if it was the other way around, people would be rioting, and they not saying people, they saying black people.
Mhm.
They'd be tearing up
mean-
shit, rioting, this, that, and
Okay,
the third.
so what they want white, but this is the thing: do they want white people to go out there and riot because this black boy killed a white boy?
But I guess what they're saying. Okay, so if you're complaining about these people not riding, then instead of complaining, why you not out there riding and not speaking out for it? But the reason is it's not all over the news because all the information is starting to come out. So before they blast it everywhere, like whoever put this information out before getting all the facts first, put the information out, put this boy in a bad light. And now they're starting to see that it was the other way around. That these two boys came over to that tent.
They were the
started it,
aggressors.
and they wasn't even on the track team. They weren't even supposed to be under the tent.
Right.
But one thing that you learn about the news is that when you have anybody that's a reporter of any sort, 9 times out of 10, their job is to
Get the story
highlight.
first.
They're trying to highlight what's going to give them the views, what's going to get them the reactions, what's going to get them seen, what's going to.
They just want to get the. They want to
just
be the
want-
first ones to break the
Yeah,
story.
They want to break
That's
the
all
story
it is.
first, and then
Without
they'll
putting all the
worry
facts
about
out.
the facts later, because one fact that they do know is that a black kid stabbed and killed a
I
white
can't
kid,
think of
and
it.
then they
I
don't
can't
worry
think of his
about
name
the
to
filler.
save my life.
Basically,
What
they-
was his name?
Basically, I couldn't remember the boy's name. Basically, they race bait for. Basically, they race baiting for whatever, for views, for whatever platform it's on. They're trying to get the views. They're trying
They're
to
baiting.
get the,
Mhm.
yeah. So they're race baiting, and it's causing more division than it is anything else. Just state the facts. Say that these boys did this boy, because somebody just put the other day that this Carmelo kid has a good chance of getting a self-defense deal because they're starting to get the facts about the whole situation.
Okay, and
But one thing they did that I have yet to see in any article was, I mean, because people are starting to talk, was that I'm trying to find his name because I don't want to keep saying the white guy.
Look on Twitter. It's all over
well, I was
Twitter.
trying to pull it
That's
up,
where
and
I'm-
my computer is like
That's
not
where I'm
responding to where that I can pull up what I need to pull up.
What is his name? I think his name is Austin.
Yeah.
Austin Metcalf.
Yeah, Metcalf.
What they're not saying is that Austin was full of Molly, and that he and his twin brother were also bullies at the school that they went to. That's what they're not saying. All that information is slowly coming out. So if you're going to talk about his background or try to talk about his background and make him in a bad light, talk about his actual background and the fact that he was a 4.0 student.
Yeah.
And that he was a very good
Well,
athlete.
they're never gonna say that, because the first thing that they look for is what does this kid
and
have
that
in
he
his
does not have
background
that he
that
does
we
not
can use,
and that he does not have a criminal background.
because their thing is to taint his case before it even has a chance.
Okay, but there is nothing to taint other
You
than
know.
this right here. He was defending himself against two boys that were bigger than him,
Yeah.
that weren't even supposed to be there under that tent. They didn't play. They weren't in track. But you're coming over there trying to make him move because that tent was for their school. But he was there associating with friends that ran track like he did. They didn't run track. Yes, you went to that school, but you weren't even supposed to be there.
When I first heard the story, the first thing that came to my mind was, this sounds like self-defense, simply because I can understand if the kid just walked around campus and then he showed up there and he had a gun.
Right.
Then you can easily sit up here and say, why would a kid have a gun? Is he in a gang or something? You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But for a kid to have a knife, usually people carry around knives for self-defense.
So, and then the fact that he
themselves.
admitted to doing it. But I guess they're looking at the fact that he ran after he did. He could have ran because he was scared. And the fact that he had just been jumped. So he was getting away from the situation. And I'm quite sure he didn't know where he stabbed him. If, so.
Like the intent probably wasn't to kill, it was probably to get away.
Exactly.
It's sad.
Most people that stab somebody that's not the aggressor is stabbing to get away and not to kill.
It's to harm.
Yeah.
If you're stabbing somebody to kill them, you're going to stab them multiple times.
And then look at this family. They have like 4 or 5 GoFundMe's. 4 or 5. Nobody's looking at that. They have 4 or 5 GoFundMe's that have already skyrocketed, in each one over $100,000.
Which family?
The Metcalf.
The Metcalf family.
Wow. They just trying to get rich.
The Metcalf family has already racked in $500,000 on the death of this child.
They need to start looking at their financials.
They've already racked in $500,000 over a few days since the death of this child. I mean, it's okay for families to feel bad about the situation and want to help the family with funeral services. This family does not look like they were starving for help with funeral services. They don't look like they was in need of any kind of money, and you just help them gain access to $500,000.
Okay, my question is, where is the mother? I've only seen the dad do interviews.
I mean, maybe the mama is one of those modern day women, mute.
But still,
and it don't matter no way.
I mean, is she deceased, or has she never been in the picture? Did they get divorced and she just left and never came back? Or, I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I don't really care where his mom is. My point is, nobody's gonna admit to how their kids act.
I will.
White is right.
Oh, okay.
You're not white.
Because I had an incident at
right.
the school with one of my kids, and with a principal and what they, I guess, a TISD police officer, because he tried to say that my daughter was texting and she wasn't. When her phone fell, it slid open and she had a signature, and the signature was kind of long. And I told him, I said, she's not texting. That's her signature. It's a part of a verse from a song. No, she was texting. I said, it's
in the car
signature.
With her? Yeah, were you in the car with her?
I've told them what song it was from. I said, it's a signature. and they were trying to keep her phone. I said, no. I said, unless you're going to pay a portion of this phone.
Unless you got an
Unless-
affidavit that
unless-
said you can confiscate
Unless
it.
you're going to pay a portion of this phone bill, you would not be keeping my daughter's phone.
Unless you got
Well,
something
it's
that
a
say you can hold
policy
it.
that if a child is caught texting, she was not texting. This is a signature. Every time she sent a text, this is at the bottom of her text. It is a signature.
What's the policy?
Well, like
That
how
if
they
the-
took,
if-
how they took that thing from Bryson when he had at school, and remember they ended up stealing it. They didn't know what happened to it.
That's different.
No, but they
That was
to,
a game. That
they're
was a
supposed to take care of
It's
PSP
it's
and the
the
teacher
same-
stole it.
It's
the same thing.
They're
If-
supposed to take it, and either some of them keep it to the end of the day, some of them keep it for the end of it. Just
Well, this was an
school.
officer.
When actually it was the principal,
Yeah.
and then the officer got involved.
Yeah, it's at a school.
So when I went up there, I was talking to the principal, and then the both of them were white. Then the officer wanted to interject. I said, "Just, I'm not speaking with you. I'm not speaking to you." And he gonna say, "Well, I see where she got it from." I said, "Hold on, just a minute." I said, "I was not speaking with you. You were the one who cut me off when I was speaking to her. Learn some manners."
I would have told him, I'll see you in court when you talk to my lawyer since you see where she got it from.
But before I did all of that, I told Broslin, I said, "Broslin, go to the car." Because one thing I don't do is I don't act a fool in front of my kids.
No, that's not the fool in front of your kids.
But it got
But,
ugly. It got ugly, and I knew it was gonna go there, so I don't do that
you
in front of
teach
my
them
kids.
to defend themselves.
Oh, my kids know to defend themselves. They know that. All of them know that. But what I'm not gonna act out with an adult in front of my kids. That's one thing I don't do.
It depends upon what you did to me that makes me want to act out in front of you, in front of my kids.
So
Because some things kids don't need to see. I agree, but some things they do need to see.
But it was
so that they know how to handle
crazy.
themselves.
And then it was another incident with the same child with the teacher. That time I made her stay there because she was trying to call Broslin out in the class, and because you wanted to call Broslin out in the class, I called you out in front of the class. She was telling Broslin, because it was a group of 5 girls at the table, and she kept saying they were talking, and because Broslin called me, or she texted me, she was like, "Mama, this teacher up here calling me dumb," and I was like, "What? Okay, hold on, I'm on my way." I went up there and I told the principal, I said, "I need to talk to Miss," I think her name was Oliveris at the time. I went in the class. I was like, "Can I speak with you?" She's like, "Sure, come on in." I was like, Broslin said you called her dumb? She's like, "Well, I was just referring." No, that's not what you do.
First of all,
I said, "You don't call the child dumb in front of the class." Then the whole class got quiet. You could hear the paper fall. Not a pin drop. You could hear a piece of paper fall on the floor. I said, first of all, what you don't do is you don't call a child dumb, and you specifically don't do it in front of the class. She said, "Well, that table back there, they have the lowest grades." I said, "That table?"
That's her fault.
I said, "The table?" I said, "Hold on." I said, "What is Broslin's grade in this class?" She looked in her grade book. She kept flipping. She said, Broslin has a 99. I said, "Excuse me, Broslin has a what?" She has a 99. I said, "What is the highest grade in this class?" A 99. I said, "How many 99s do you have?" 1. I said, "And that's whose?" Broslin. Okay, so next time you need to know your information correctly before you start calling people out in the class. So I think you owe my daughter an apology. I made her apologize to Broslin in front of the class. She said, "Broslin, I'm sorry. I'll never do that again." I said, "Thank you and have a great day." Walked out the class. Everybody was like, ooh, yeah. Don't do mine. I don't play by my kids.
I mean, I'm not gonna say all black kids are just the model student, because they're not. Just like whites need to stop assuming that they're all right.
Right.
Because you're not.
And most parents, I'm not gonna say
And-
most, but the majority of parents know what their children will and won't do.
In the whole disparity between blacks and whites, blacks and whites, is that we know when we're wrong. We can acknowledge when we're wrong. We can apologize, some of us, when we're wrong. Even if we can't apologize, we know we've done wrong. You get what I'm saying? But the disparity is that a lot of white people, they don't want they won't acknowledge, they won't apologize, they just gonna write it down to the grave. because
And
of
they
the
keep
privilege that they're
doing it.
right.
And they
You
keep
know,
doing it.
that they're right. And it's like we wouldn't have a problem. The Black community would not have a problem if they start acknowledging the wrongdoings of the white culture and stop always just pinpointing what's bad in blacks, because all blacks are not bad. It just like y'all don't want us to assume that all white people is trash. Like, no,
Or
we
they
don't
don't
want to
want us.
assume that.
They don't want us to assume that all white people are not racist.
Yeah,
Which
we
every
don't want to assume. Y'all don't want us to assume that. So I
every
mean,
culture has people that are racist in
Yeah,
their culture.
that's true.
yes,
And there's actually a couple of cultures out there that's more racist than white people.
that's
Yeah.
true.
But that's just
And you know,
what you're dealing with
and
is
to
American
backdoor what
history.
you're talking about, there are cultures that are racist to their own kind.
Yeah,
If your skin is too dark in their country, then they view you as ugly and they treat you like shit.
Yeah.
But y'all are the same. Y'all are like, whether it's mostly Asian countries and over in India, especially those two countries, like Asian countries and India. If you're a darker Asian or a darker Indian person, they they look down on you. Like they feel like the lighter the skin, the better.
that's because that's what society has taught them, and that's why I went on ahead and put that topic. White is right. Is white right? No, it is not. It is not. And so if anybody that is white on my page that get offended, you obviously feel like you're right and you can exit left.
Well, people that get offended by that kind of stuff, are people that secretly that's how they feel.
Yeah. And
Like most people, like the people I know, like I know people that are diehard Trump supporters, but they're honest about it. It's like, no, Brian, I don't agree with that, and this, that, and the third.
yeah,
That's the people I would prefer to be around.
I've been approached by a lot of people like that. Uh, I won't say the young lady's name that I worked with, and when Obama ran his first term, and everybody was like, "Oh, did you vote? Did you vote? Did you vote?" No, I didn't go out and vote because I wasn't in a position where I could go vote at that time, and I didn't know who Obama was the first term. So, and I let them know that. And so this young lady, she said, "Well, uh, my family were Republicans, so we voted Republicans." I said, "Why?" I said, "Aren't you on food stamps? Don't your parents get Social Security?" And she said, "Yeah." "Then why are you voting Republican?" "Oh, I don't know. That I just follow suit of my family." "What, you don't got your own mind?" And this was a white young lady. You don't have your own mind in your family's household, or do you live by yourself?" "Oh, I live by myself, so you couldn't vote on your own accord?" "Well, my dad has always been a Republican, so we all just vote Republican." "I'm not understanding why if you're receiving food stamps."
Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of the younger generation do. They follow suit. They don't look at what the person that they're voting for is actually going to do for them, whether it's going to be beneficial or detrimental.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not understanding why. Now, and I will also say, like before Obama, it's not nothing against Obama. I'd never voted before Obama.
What?
Not a never.
Wow. I mean, I vote,
I mean,
but I honestly feel like my vote really doesn't count because they look at the popular vote, but your vote doesn't count.
I would say this. I always did sit back and think that the votes did not count until this term right here. This term was the first time I actually sat there and I paid attention to, because I didn't understand the electoral. I didn't understand the electoral vote.
The electoral vote is what counts.
And
Those
so,
13 votes is what decides the presidency.
okay, so with that, it when they broke it down, from my understanding, okay, if I'm wrong, correct me. But when I was listening to them this term and they was trying to break down how important it was for each president candidate to grab the biggest states. Okay, so let's just say, well, Kamala, she got California. California had like, I don't know, 50 something electorals. Um, that the majority of whoever voted, like the Republic between the two parties, whoever voted the most in that state, that would be us. Then that's who would get those electorals for that state. So, like for Texas, a lot of people didn't turn out to vote. And then the ones that did, because they're so scared of Texas becoming a blue state, they always coincidentally make sure, and I do mean coincidentally make sure, to go out there and just eliminate over 100,000 black votes. How are you eliminating black votes? What made them ineligible?
Because they don't.
And
they
then
make sure they don't count.
And then this time when I went to go vote, they had my whole information wrong. You don't got it wrong when you're trying to bill me.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have it wrong when you want to come find me. You don't have it wrong when you was harassing me. But I go vote this time around, and they had my address wrong, my name was misspelled wrong, and all that.
When you've lived there forever.
And it'll make it to where that we as the black community becomes ineligible to vote. Why I gotta sit up here and you sent me my whole voter's registration card with the correct information, correct spelling, but then when I get up there, the vote is wrong.
Now just imagine all those absentee votes or all those mail-in votes.
Yeah.
Just imagine how many of those they didn't count.
And then why would we burn our own box of votes?
Yeah, because I have a friend. Well, no, I take that back.
You ain't a friend?
No, he ain't the one that said it.
Okay.
You know, I don't care what party you're in. I don't. It doesn't matter. But a lot of black Republicans are the worst.
Oh yeah.
Because it's these dudes that was on YouTube, and they was out there talking about the left is out there burning votes and stuff, and you know, like you said, why in the hell would they burn votes? And you know what I'm saying?
Well,
That's somebody that burnt votes because, in my opinion, I don't think it was Kamala was black. I mean, that played a part in it, but I believe it's because she was a woman.
Yeah, they don't want a woman in office.
Even though a woman is what
and now,
helped them get to where they at.
Now it's a lot of farmers that are hurting. I sent you a video the other day that there was a farmer that posted something. He was like losing money and stuff. He was about to lose his farm, and
everybody is losing money.
Another dude.
Have you looked at your 401k?
No, it's depressing.
Yeah, everybody.
No, they're losing their 401.
Everybody's losing it. That's why everybody is trying to change it over to where it's not associated with a major stock.
And then the thing also is like it's especially bad because the Republican Party's split right now. It's like you got the true Republicans, and then you got
the assholes,
the other people. And it's like
we have never been in my adulthood, the economy and the society has never been this bad. I say within the next year and a half, we're gonna be in a depression era.
They're saying that we might go into a depression by the end of the year.
Yeah, but it's like I said. It's like I said when he was running, I don't pay attention to this crap. Okay, I'm like you in the beginning. I was like, oh, my vote don't even matter. What would actually happen if none of us actually voted? You know, because y'all don't care about the black community anyway. So what would happen if we did not want to vote at all? You know, stuff like that. But like I said, then I started paying attention. It was like a month or two before.
I mean, I vote, but the popular vote does not matter. It's those 13 electoral college votes that decides the president.
Well, see, I could be one of those people that be like, well,
if they know who those 13 electoral college votes are, That's who they try to get to.
Mhm.
That's who they try to sway. It's only 13 votes
That's
that
all they need.
that
And each-
determine who the president is going to be.
Yeah.
13.
And then I could be one of those people because of how much money we make through the gym. I could be like, yeah, it's gonna save me money because starting next year, people that don't make over $40,000 a year is gonna be paying in. Look like,
Yeah, yeah,
and like to get any kind of return, you have to make almost $80,000.
yeah.
And I could be that kind of person. I'd be like, oh well, it doesn't affect me because I make enough money, so it's not going to affect what we get back.
I mean, that's the sad part is that you have a lot of black people doing that because it doesn't directly affect them. Damned if we care about the rest of us, And it's like it does affect you, especially if you have a business and you talking all this shit, but you depending on the black dollar.
Mm-hmm.
You depending on the black dollar.
Well,
I always thought money was green, but now I see there's a black dollar.
and it's like it's not to say that everybody's not like that.
And that's true.
It's that 10 to 15% that make everybody. It's just like the 10-15% of black people that show their ass.
I tell you
The
what,
Negroes.
the company where we work at, I wish they would.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, it's like it's like that 10 or 15% of black people that show their ass. They automatically categorize everybody else into that same
yeah.
category.
Mm-hmm.
I had a person tell me when I was working at Wood Creek, they come from West Texas, and it's like, Brian, I didn't know black people were like you. I'm like, what do you mean?
I mean, that's all we heard when we went to the toy convention.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, you're real polite, you're well spoken, and all that. I'm like, how's it we supposed to be? Well, all they got is like the gold teeth sagging their pants. I said, see, that's y'all problem is y'all see a stereotype people.
They lump us all in the same.
They automatically stereotype black and brown people. Black people and Mexicans, they stereotype.
That's just that goes back to the judgment of a coworker judging me based on how I talk and how I am. She just basically is like, Lacey, where are you from? I'm like, what you mean? I'm from here. You from Tyler? Born and raised. All your life? Since the day I was born. Who named their kid Lacey? Your parents, they mix? My mama black and my daddy blacker than my mama. I'm like, I am not mixed. Now, who would be mixed would be my grandmother's sibling, her and her siblings.
Mm-hmm.
They're mixed. Once it hits me, I'm third generation. Once it hits me,
I'm quite sure
mixed.
a lot of our grandparents are mixed.
Yeah. Once it hits me, I'm not mixed. Now I have my complexion because of the line, but my grandmother is light bright. Half white, half Indian, and a little bit of black. And I do mean a sprinkle. But mostly native. Mostly native is in my family. That's why we have the high cheekbones, everything. They mostly native. My grandmother them have very little black. You can tell when you look at them. That's probably, and I've noticed, like, when you light skinned, you date black. But when you black, you date white. Because you got a problem with your complexion.
That's what my son says when his friends see my mom. They're like, oh, your grandma hair long. My son said that's that engine in them.
Yeah, and I have cousins that literally you can tell that native line. They look at the hair and everything. You can tell 100%. Oh, y'all Indian? I mean,
how can you not be
native? Yeah, we have native. A lot of it. But
yeah, I have a cousin that's trying to trace our lineage.
I mean, I did that, but I got tired of doing my family tree through that.
He trying to go as far back as he
I
can.
got tired of doing that lineage because they tell you to go on there and you put in the information. And I kept putting in the information going all the way back to my great grandmother and then I'm like, listen, I'm gonna need for you to do your job because I done put these people in here.
Oh, he's talking to relatives and all that. He's he's talking to people. He's talking to actual people.
I mean, I did that. I was, like I said, I was blessed to have my great grandmother in my life for 20 some years. So I'm glad I had that as a natural knowledge for my tree that I started.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't go beyond that because my grandmother, she can't remember everything because it's too far back,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But she knows who her grandparents are. But it's like to go beyond.
Right.
She can't remember everybody because it's just too far back,
Right.
you know. Now, had I been close to my uncles, because she still got a lot of her siblings, even though she lost a lot of siblings, it was 16 of them. It's still a lot of them still alive.
Wow.
There's still a lot of them still alive. And
I
that's
think
a blessing.
I think my grandmother had 13, I think.
Yeah, my grandmother had 13. She had 13. And unfortunately, she just lost another child. Unfortunately. Just last week. And so now she has lost, and they're all boys. She has lost, if I'm not mistaken, 3 boys. 3 boys. And the first boy, like I said, he was, as far as I know, he was passed before I was even born, in his 20s. I think from the story that I got was that he came home from the military and had a car accident.
Oh.
While he was visiting, while he was on a break. He had an accident while he was in Houston or whatever. But just a few years ago, she lost her second child, her second boy, and now she just lost her third boy. So they're close in the gap of the loss. I think it's only like a 2-year, 3-year at most gap. And so my grandmother, she's not 90, she's almost 90. So we're just mainly just trying to love on her,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because she's also losing grandkids and stuff like that. My grandmother lost one great grandchild way back when I was in middle school.
Mm.
Like my grandmother was a grandmother in her 20s.
Wow. Okay.
My great grandmother was a great grandmother in her 30s.
Okay.
So, and that's because they were married at 13 years old.
Yeah, they were married young.
They were married young. So they started their families very young. So both of these young ladies, they were having babies together.
It's like they were married at 13 and having babies at 15.
And so when you have a mother, which will be my great grandmother, she gets married at 13, and then 13 years later, or whatever, 20 years, I'm not going to even say 13. When by the time she hit her 20s, now my grandmother is 13 years old, and her mother's in her 20s, and she done had a baby because she's married off, she's paired off. Now here my great grandmother is, you're a grandmother, you're a grandmother now. And then that 13 years later, this child done had a baby. Now you're a great grandmother. So a lot of people, they confuse they know my family, they confuse us because they were like, oh, your uncle? Oh no, he's my cousin. He's just older than some of his aunts and uncles.
Okay.
You know, because my grandmother she didn't have her last child till she was in her 40s.
I wish I would.
But I mean, just imagine that. My grandmother had her last child in her 40s, but yet my mother already had me. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-mm. I wish I would.
So our family is very young.
I wish I would.
Once I paid attention to that. So, yeah. But now, y'all, I just wanted to get on here and speak on this white is right. The perception that a lot of whites feel like they are right. And deep down, they know these people are bad. They know these people are wrong, and they don't recognize it unless it is a white on white crime.
I won't even say bad. I'll just say wrong.
Well,
because you don't have to be a bad person to be doing wrong.
if you bullying people, you are a bad person.
Oh yeah, bullying, yes.
And if he had the chance to continue to grow in his age and his nonsense, ain't no telling what he would have been.
Well, no.
Later
What would have happened is it wouldn't have been Carmelo to stop him. It would have been somebody else.
Yeah. So it's like that bullying ain't no joke. And for some reason, the news they don't want to highlight the wrongdoings of the white culture.
And then it's the fact that they won't go back and retract anything that they're saying.
Yeah.
That's what gets me.
They won't go back and correct it or anything like that. This is a model student.
Or they won't, another news outlet won't go back and make another.
They made a hero out of bullies.
Exactly. Who does that?
Saying that the child died in his brother's arms and this, and that, and that. And
trying to stop the bleeding.
Yeah. But ultimately, y'all were out here bullying people.
When they weren't even supposed to be there.
And now y'all finessing money out of people and have gained access to.
If it were me, I would get a refund. I would want my money back. Donation or not, I would want my money back because it was donated on false pretenses. So I wonder, like, is the feds looking into this? No, not. I'm quite sure they're not yet. Anyway, it'll have to get more headwind, or it would have to get more light would have to be shed on it. More people would have to make noise. It's not making enough noise right now. Or his family would have to probably file a suit or something, a defamation of character or something before something happens.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. It's like you're definitely dragging this child in the ground.
Right.
And then he's gonna have 13 people as jurors, and
that
probably
know nothing
nine
about
of them gonna be.
They're gonna get in there.
I'm gonna say 10 of them gonna be white and 3 of them gonna be black, just to say that you put black people on there.
They're gonna destroy this young man's life. All this that's coming out about this young man, 4.0, good kid, good athlete, I think he even had some scholarships to schools.
I heard that too.
And the only,
he's already messed up his life because of the interaction. So he's not saying he didn't do wrong.
Right. He admitted to his fault.
And the black community is not saying he should not be punished, but his punishment is going to be unfair.
And the fact that he owned up and admitted to his fault. He knew he did wrong. He admitted it. But don't drag him through the mud.
Yeah.
Unlike some, he admitted his fault.
I agree. 100%. It's sad. It's really sad.
It's sad on both ends. One man lost his life, but on the other end, he shouldn't have been a bully. I'm not saying kill all bullies, but keep your hands to yourself because they started it. He was the aggressor. Actually, they were the aggressors. I said what I said.
That's
and
the
I meant what I said.
FAFO. That's the FAFO.
And they found out the hard way.
And they never imagined that it would lead to this.
Right.
Neither party. Never imagined.
And now they're capitalizing off of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're benefiting off of the death. Next is going to be a whole story and how the child was a model student and what he did 20 years before he was even thought about being born.
Now his brother is at a loss, and he's gonna need counseling and psychotherapy, and he's gonna see all kind of therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists, and can't go back to that school anymore, and he can't go to college without his brother. He can't sleep at night, and night sweats and terrors and nightmares about the
brother grow to be a serial killer.
So yeah, and then if something happens,
then it's gonna be think about 20 years ago, his brother did die in his arms.
So it's going to be a never-ending story.
Yeah. So, Contrary
you got
to
me to talk
beliefs.
more than you normally get me to talk, didn't
We did, Mr. Wilson. We did.
you? Well,
Contrary to beliefs, white is not right.
it's
If nobody told you, no,
it's
white
a
is not right.
heartbreaking situation
It is very heartbreaking.
on both ends. Like
I
you
just
see your
said
brother
that.
pass, yeah. But if you want to get me fired up, you talk about some racism, boy, I'll get on that topic all day long. And dare
I
somebody
see.
say something.
I see. I see. Yep.
What?
I mean, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Well, it's just, I mean, growing up between here and Kilgore and witnessing what I witnessed growing up, I could have grown up being racist towards white people from what I've seen and what I witnessed with my grandpa and how people treated me. And then my grandpa, I remember my grandpa saying, no, don't talk to him like that. Don't call him that. Because I didn't understand what he was doing. I done seen people be lured to pasture parties just to be beat up by a bunch of white boys.
Oh,
I've seen
wow.
that. Yeah, they invite you to a pasture party just to beat you up.
They fake friend you.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Well, I can say that when I was younger, I lived some. I will say that I lived somewhat of a sheltered life, but I went out, I did things. I had really good friends. I had white friends, black friends, Mexican friends. I had all kind of friends, but I was never mistreated.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I was never mistreated.
I
went to sleepovers with
I was bullied all my life.
with all friends. So I didn't experience any type of racism when I was younger that I can think. No, I didn't experience any type of racism when I was younger. So on that aspect of it, I can say that I was pretty sheltered on that part. I didn't have to deal with anything. The only thing that I did get, but it was done in a joking manner, is everybody called me little white girl because I talked so proper when I was little. But other than that, that's the only thing I had to deal with when I was younger.
Oh, if that's the case, Mr. Wilson bullies me all the time. No, she went to that white school. She don't listen to number white folks music.
I did.
There you go. A lot of people today, you listen to rap? I'm black. What you mean?
Or when I'm on my kids have it bad when I'm on the phone because I get my little professional voice. Like, Mommy, you sound so white. I'm like, no, baby, it's called being professional.
Yeah, he'll mess with me too. But yeah, no, I was bullied.
I tell her, put on your professional voice. She sound fake.
Oh no, I don't sound fake. I just sound professional.
Misha do.
I get on the phone. Hello, and I'm calling on behalf of Yeah, I get real.
I know how mean Misha is. Don't let that little face fool you.
Listen,
I mean, I get so professional with it. When I walk in, they think I'm a different person.
Don't let him fool y'all talking about this fake voice. Baby, can you make this phone call for me? Because
see, that's when I'm like, no, you make your own phone call. Remember, I have a fake voice.
Sometimes you need to,
No.
I can't do a fake voice.
That is not a fake voice. That is being professional.
I don't have a professional.
No, let me tell you what happened. I was with this girl. I cannot remember her name. Oh, what was her name? It was me and this girl named Tanya. We went with her sister. I cannot remember her sister's name, but anyway, she talks really proper. She worse than I am. But she called and she wanted to go look at this car. She got him on the phone, made the appointment and everything. We show up. She's black. We all black. She show up. Why did they reschedule her appointment? Because they thought she was a white woman on the phone.
We have a friend named Tasha. Tasha.
They did.
Signed up for an Airbnb.
They rescheduled her appointment because they thought she was a white woman when she was on the phone.
Tasha signed up for an Airbnb. And Tasha has a professional voice or whatever. And they talked to her, whatever, but they seen her profile when she signed up for it. They told her that it wasn't available. So she had a friend. She changed her profile to her friend's picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a white girl.
And it was available. That's what I told her to do on some of her Facebook when she wanted to purchase some of them.
Facebook be pissing me off, so let me go and put y'all on blast.
On Marketplace.
Let me tell y'all something for the white counterparts of you that sell stuff on Facebook, on the Marketplace. Either you want your cash to be green or do you want it to be white? Because if you're selling stuff on there and I put on there immediately that I'm interested in it, you don't, all of a sudden it's not available or you don't respond. And then next thing you know, it's sold. Why are you selling stuff on here that you don't actually want to sell? Or you just don't want to sell it to black people? Then why don't you just put in your listing for whites only?
Okay, I told you
I'm not. Ain't nobody gonna be offended. I mean, that's just your preference.
Yeah, that's just your preference, that you just prefer for white people only to buy your stuff. Okay? Because trust me, me and my money be getting pissed off. Me and my money, we're a package deal. Be getting pissed off. Because I be trying to buy these stuff and then they don't want to sell it because I'm black.
Tell them.
because she will gladly buy from someone else who would take her money.
Yeah, I've met a lot of white people that are very nice, very professional, and don't mind my black dollar. So if you don't want the black dollar, just put on there you want white money only. Since y'all want to put a color to money and it ain't green.
They'll open her message, look at it.
Yeah, they'll look at it.
And then she'll be the first one. Like, as soon as it posts, they'll look at it. And it'll be on there for like hours, even days.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it'll be sold. She'll message them about 2 or 3 times, like, I'm still interested because it's still available. And they
won't respond whatsoever.
They'll look at her message and just leave it.
I ain't changing my photo. Hell, I wasn't born white. You gonna take me black or don't take it at all?
Well, when I was born, I was a little colorless. I was white.
I don't know what I was. I think I was still
pictures.
brown.
I have pictures.
Being a light bright ain't being white.
No, I was. My sister used to tell me I was the milkman, baby.
I'm not about to play. Not about to play. Not about to play.
Man, they did. They used to tell me I was adopted. Everything used to, yeah.
Nah.
If I endured any type of racism, it would have been from my siblings. Yes.
Yeah. All my bullying that I received came from blacks.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't met a white person yet that mistreated me.
And that's the thing, is like, white people are Caucasians, let me put it like that, because I'm keep on saying white people.
They are white.
Yeah, but they're not.
Actually, they're not white.
They're not white. They're like
just say paler than me.
I mean, we ain't black, but they call us black.
Yeah, we're brown.
No, I'll tell them no, I ain't black. I'm brown or tan. I'll say I'm brown with a reddish undertone. Like, I get that from my Indian folks. Like, I piss them off when I say that.
We're all different shades of brown.
Yeah.
But I forgot the shit I was going to say.
But I will say, like, Raven did a
what was I talking about?
On YouTube. Raven did an interview. I can't remember who she did it with.
All of her racism came from white people.
Oh, like our daughter, my daughters, both of my girls,
Mm-hmm.
me and Misha's and my oldest daughter, because it's like people say that they always say, well, black people are racist. Yeah, I know black people are racist, even against their own people, just like everybody else.
Because they're
which
trying to fit in.
Which is not racist. It's being prejudiced against somebody's how they look. My daughters got bullied because darker skinned girls thought because they were light skinned that they thought they were they were uppity, and they weren't. My girls were nowhere near that. So they were getting bullied.
I had to deal with it a little bit because I've always been lighter. Recently is when I got dark. See, this was the color I used to be.
I've always been this color.
But
now, I always came to the conclusion that if a girl was bullying me like they were, it's because I was cuter than them.
Yeah, I was a high yellow.
Right there,
very conceited. I'm a beautiful woman.
Every woman should be,
and
even if she is mud.
If you can't sit here and consider me a beautiful woman,
every woman should consider themselves.
Then you
beautiful.
got a problem with the way you look and you taking it out on
every woman should, even if she's even Whoopi at work, she should think she is beautiful.
And she is cute.
No, she ain't.
I didn't think Whoopi was ugly in her younger days.
Whoopi
She is a Whoopi Viola Davis combo. She ugly than a mug, but she should think she's
I don't
beautiful.
think Viola Davis is ugly.
No, she's not. But when you
Viola
put
Davis
them
is
two,
real pretty.
when you put them two together, that don't mesh well. You put Viola and Whoopi together, no, that ain't together. Mm-mm. No.
Whoopi ain't that bad.
Well, I said put them together. That's not gonna mesh well.
She do look like Whoopi, and like I don't have a problem with our version of Whoopi. We're only just saying that because we don't want to say her name. I don't have a problem with her on how she looks.
She just got a ugly. She
Her
got a
attitude is very
funky
ugly.
attitude.
Who's y'all talking about?
We can't say her
Didn't
name.
I just tell you?
But you know what? Maybe it's because we're lighter than she is.
No, she's doing that shit just because.
No, I think
Or a lot of
I think
dark
it's a combination of the two.
I don't think she has a problem with me being light skinned.
I think it is. I think it is.
Now, a lot of people, they do assume that I don't know if I come across like I just don't know what to do. But trust me, if that's what you believe, I am gonna act it.
You know what? I think my problem is some people have told me it's because I'm so nonchalant, which I am. I mean,
But
I'm not gonna be
in my adult years, the bullying comes because when they meet me, it's a mixture. They don't know how to perceive me yet. But once I come across that I'm strong natured, then there we go. Then we have a problem.
You mean they find out that you're mean?
Oh, you know, I'm gonna start. You know what? I'm gonna start using that.
What?
Strong natured.
Yeah, I'm strong natured. What is you talking about mean?
That's it. That's it. I'm not mean. I'm strong natured. I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
I'm just saying. Now, I will apologize to anybody if y'all have any type of comments on here. I can't see absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It never would pull up on my computer. So
it's not pulling up on Facebook on there.
It's not showing nothing. And I'm afraid if I click on it, then it's gonna be loud and we're gonna be talking, and then you know the deal.
Well, it'll show their comments down there.
PG.
Oh, God dang.
What? Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all. We gotta move. I have officially been disowned.
Disowned by who?
My sister said, "Do not tell people that we are sisters."
Wow. All of that just popped up.
And then she says that whoever said that is full of shit. It is the 20th century. You're not the first well-spoken black man. And she says 4'3", like Kevin. So I'm sorry to my sister because we couldn't see any of the responses.
I told you they would pop up, and boy, did they pop up.
We could not see any of the responses, and now we've missed our chance to respond to any of this that was going on.
What you might have to do is start looking at it up on your phone.
That's what she's doing now.
And leave your phone open while you're online. That way you can see.
That's what I did because it wouldn't pull up over here on my computer. Usually I use my computer, that way I can kind of keep up with who's commenting and stuff like that. But today it's like it's not doing absolutely anything. Come on. It won't even let me in the computer. Okay, there it is. I guess it's just lagging.
You broke it.
It better not break. It better wait till December when I finish my classes. Because I can't afford another computer. There we go. I can't afford another one. This one right here cost me. This one was $750.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to
get I got it at
my daughter is gonna have to give me another computer because
look, it's still buffering up here.
My grandson, she said he climbed on the table and I guess stepped on it trying to get something off the table, and now my screen is messed up.
I could see that. That's what's going. That's what's wrong with my other tablet. Stepping on it. Yeah.
But why was he on the table?
They said I think I would cry if I woke up white. Oh, baby. I'd probably cry too.
No,
'Cause
I would
when
be
I saw
I would be crispy because tanning salon every day, every other day, as much as I
I
could.
have absolutely no problem with my complexion, my color,
You know,
my shade, my race,
that's
my
what I wanted
hair.
to say.
None of that.
You know, for them to not like us so much,
They want to be us.
they want to be us. They want to be us.
And they were very offended with they not like us.
They want their bodies like us. They want the color like us. They wear their hair like us. They even get braids. They want to talk like us.
You see the little it wasn't a skit, it was just a video where this black girl, okay, a white girl came out of a salon. She had just had her hair freshly braided. Now, me personally, I don't give a damn how you have your hair. It ain't got shit to do with me.
Right.
But white girl, blonde hair, she had her hair freshly braided. And the black girl walked by, she said, "Really? Really? That's what you're gonna do? Take that shit out your head.
Oh, dang.
Take that out your head." And the girl was like, "What?" And I was on the white girl's side. I was on her side. I was like, "What's wrong with her having her hair braided?" Because you do have a lot of white people, especially what's those real earthy type like white people? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
They had their hair braided. I didn't see nothing wrong with
Well, it was.
But she had a huge, huge problem. And that's because I don't differentiate. I don't separate. I have white in my family. I have all of that.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
don't
like,
do. I don't do.
I didn't see anything wrong with it.
My only problem is when they have to stress so hard to act black.
But I do have.
If it's in you, it's in you.
Yeah.
Don't put on an act. Because just like I was sitting and we were sitting in the dentist, me and my mom, and we were watching something, and this white girl was on there, and she was talking, and I was like, oh, she grew up around black people, because you could tell by her demeanor, the way she spoke, everything. My mom was like, how can you tell? I said, you can just tell it's natural for her. But then this other white girl that she was with, you could tell she was acting like she grew up. I was like, see, watch them both. I said, you can tell that this one right here grew up in a neighborhood around black people. And this one right here, she's trying to act like her.
But I want a lot of people that date interracial. I want a lot of people to think about this, okay? And I want y'all to think long and hard, okay? A lot of people that date interracial, they are really trying hard to prove that they are not racist against the black culture.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It's just a preference.
No, that's what I'm saying. I want y'all to think long and hard. Because what I'm seeing is that a lot of interracial couples, they're not racist against a sex.
Well, there's a difference.
So
you hit the nail on the head.
So like say me being black and I'm gonna date a white man or whatever, that's fine and dandy. And this white man is trying to prove I'm not racist. My girlfriend is black, but you don't get along with black men. Or you're a black male and your girlfriend is white and your white girlfriend is trying to say, I'm not racist. I have a black boyfriend, but you don't get along with black women. So I just want y'all to think about it.
Or it could be because she thinks that black women.
Now it could be.
I'll
just say now, it could be that it's hard for y'all to get along with, like as a white woman, it's hard to get along with the black women because black women are judging you. Me, I don't give two F's. Because your relationship has absolutely nothing to do with me and my bills. Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing. I don't care. I don't have to deal with that in the public eye. You have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with the rejection. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with your culture rejecting you because you dated outside of your race. So I don't have to deal with that. So I don't care. And seeing the interracial, I don't care whatsoever. So don't feel like you have to be my friend because you're dating black. Don't expect me to be your friend because you're dating black. I will be your friend accordingly, judging by your character.
Yep.
And your character alone.
And just because you're dating black does not mean...
I'm not friends with everybody that my husband is friends with.
I'm not even friends with everybody I'm friends with. What you talking about?
I'm just saying. Everybody that assume that you their friend.
Some of them are acquaintances, and some of them are my friends.
So I'm not acquaintances to all of his acquaintances.
I just treat everybody with
But I
respect
am
until
cordial.
They give me a reason not to.
If you speak, I will return the favor and speak. I don't have to like you. Don't expect it. And it has nothing to do with your color because I don't care. But if y'all just not jumping on this hot topic feed because it is lit today, we are talking about white is right.
She said it's lit. Lit.
We're gonna leave that back in. The year that came from.
What year did that come from? Oh God, people still do that.
Listen. Let's do that.
I know y'all not behind me.
Listen, we ain't old yet. Now I get on here and I might act old, but I ain't old. I ain't old. But no, we're just speaking on our hot topic today. White is right. We were just speaking on the tragic event with the young man Carmelo Anthony and the white male that he stabbed,
Austin Metcalf,
and how the news, society, and everyone around them is praising the death of this young man. They have celebritized his family. This family has gained $500,000 worth of tax-free income off of the death of this young man. And everybody is okay with that because he's white. And they're bashing the black man and not trying to figure out what happened. Why? They're not acknowledging the other side, the other party, and the part that they played that led up to the death of this young man. Because it didn't just happen just because he asked him to move. That was a Rosa Parks situation, and they felt entitled.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
They felt entitled to take his seat because they were white.
Well, they didn't want him
under their school's tent.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Metaphor is the seat. They wanted it. Because of the entitlement.
They weren't even supposed to be there. They didn't run track. They weren't athletes.
So,
they weren't supposed to be on the field in general.
And a promising young man has lost his promising future because the cup runneth over. Mm-hmm. The straw broke the camel's back.
He was a 4.0 student. He was a good athlete. No criminal background. Nothing.
Yeah. And nobody's highlighting it. They're going to hide all of that.
Why? Because he is a man of color, and the other one is.
And I'm sure when they went to the school and interviewed the principals or whoever, they probably was like, "Well, we don't understand why this young man did this because this was a good student. We never had a problem out of him. He attended class. He was never late. He was always on time. He turned his homework in. He made good grades.
But at
very
the same
respectful.
time,
they don't care about none of that.
Did they put any of that?
Yeah, they don't care about none of that. They didn't write none of that down.
Exactly.
But how was he acting when he stabbed the kid, though? That's what we want to know.
He was defending himself.
He was defending himself.
How you gonna act? The same way.
So you're saying he wasn't a part of any kind of gang?
Was he supposed to be?
Does he have both of the family members, both mom and dad, in the home?
What difference does it make?
It's like, what difference does it make? Because the first thing out of your mouth is this his upbringing. The majority of criminals are raised in churches. They raised with manners.
Okay, but then you can backdoor
they get reprimanded.
Did Austin have both of his parents? Because the only parent I have seen in interviews is the dad.
Yeah. They don't care about that. They don't acknowledge that a lot of white families are single household families.
Yeah, the only pictures I've seen is with the dad.
Yeah, the mama might have gave him away.
That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen the mom in anything.
She might have saw Devilman and her boys and said, go with your daddy.
But with that almost $500,000, that might be enticing enough for her to come back. Honey, I'm home.
Yeah, they got like 4 or 5 GoFundMe accounts.
And I think that should not be allowed.
And
if you have a GoFundMe, it should be one account.
And they
one
all
account
have
only.
racked over $100,000 each. One of them I saw for a fact was over 200,000.
You should only be allowed to have one GoFundMe account.
So yeah,
and there should be keywords in GoFundMe's that will not allow you to have more than one.
I mean, yeah, they're using the same picture.
Yep.
How do they
like
know
plagiarism.
How do they know?
I can go make them a GoFundMe with their picture and get and rack off of them.
Exactly. Maybe. No.
You know, would I be in the wrong for marketing
you know
off of them?
It wouldn't surprise me if a couple of them are fake accounts.
Yeah.
They're like, hey,
let me get in on this.
I got some bills I need to pay off. I want a new car. That's a down payment for a house.
Yeah.
I can get out of debt.
Yeah. And it's like at the end of the day, you just made this family $500,000 richer.
Well, we're not gonna say a whole 5. We're gonna say at least 2.
No,
because some of those might be, like he said, some of those,
right?
Some of those might be fake.
They might be fake, but but it's all under one family name, so I'm just gonna say family. Because the son could have made one, the daddy could have made one, the mama could have made one, a couple of aunts could have made one.
Well, you know what? The mama probably made one, even though she's absent. She was like, you know what? I had them, so I need to get something out of it.
It's like as his twin brother, I'm going to be at a loss, so I need to make something. Well, as his daddy, I need to make something too, and I'm the grieving aunt. Don't forget me.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
But y'all, we're gonna be back on this. We're gonna be back on here on Thursday for Freestyle Thursday. And I'm gonna keep an eye out on this case, on what's going on, updates and stuff. Not because of the loss of the child. I'm worried about the child that just lost his future, Carmelo. I'm worried about him. That's what I'm worried about. Because nobody's not acknowledging that he was wrong. It still doesn't change the fact that now I know what this child is going to go through. I've seen it. And he will be tried as an adult.
Oh, yeah. He's 17. I think even if he was 14 or 15, they still try him as an adult, simply because he is.
And they're not even going to go through. They're going to go through the formalities, but it's just going to be like, just because they have to sit there and go through it. Their mind is already made up that he's guilty.
Yep. That's the bad part is.
Because they lost a white life.
That's the like a lot of people don't understand is they're like, well, what's the problem? I don't see an issue. It's like, okay, when like a lot of people have issues in interracial relationships because the other don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of friends that were in interracial and they get into small arguments because they don't understand because they never had to go through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't agree with the innocent until proven guilty. You're guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, you have to prove your innocence. You don't have to prove your guilt, because they are, in their minds, they already know that you did the crime. If somebody said you did it, then you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Charles is dead, and they'd be like, Ray Charles is the witness and said that you did it. Nah, he dead. How he gonna say I did it? And he had shades on, and it was dark outside. How he know?
And he blind. His ears heard you.
And then the defense got to get up there and say, well, sir, it was dark outside. How could you see? Well, you know, my shades are colored on the outside, so it kind of highlights a little light on the other side. And so I kind of saw his face from behind the trees or bushes. From the dead.
But then you're like, okay, but I thought you were blind.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta
Well, I can see
you gotta
shapes and
poke holes in the
figures.
prosecution's case after all of that.
And then my hearing is intensified. I could hear the sound of his shoes.
I actually hope that this young man don't take it to court, to trial, because yes, he did the crime, he did it. So I hope they just give him a fair deal and just be done. Because if he take it to trial, they're gonna
Unfortunately,
it's gonna be bad,
I
because
don't know. I think that if
they're
he,
gonna
I
throw
think
him
it,
life
I
on a
think,
maximum sentence that should be like 25
I
years.
think if he take it to trial, he stands a better chance of getting off because there's too much evidence against him. For one, he was full of drugs. Two, I mean, he just has so much more against him than Carmela does against him. Yes, black people have been getting a bad rap, but they were the aggressors. It was 2 against 1. And if he can show that there was no intent to kill because he was just defending himself. I mean,
Yeah,
it's flat out
he's
self-defense.
gonna have to prove that.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I still think
I
I
hope
still
that
think he
whoever was
stands a
sitting,
better chance of taking it to
I
trial than
want
pleading out.
I want true witnesses to stop sitting back and just looking.
Yeah. I think they're
And
scared.
for what? You scared of? Because if it was your child, you would want a witness to come forward.
They would.
You would want them to tell what happened. Even if you was the parent that was sitting there, they're not going to take your word because it's biased, because that's your child. So they're not going to be able to trust it whether or not you're telling the truth. But you're going to want a witness that was sitting there to come forward and say and tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell the truth. The truth. So
I think the only deal that I would take would be manslaughter.
yeah, this making my eye hurt just thinking about this young man and what he's finna have to go through. And I hope that a good lawyer that ain't worried about money, can step forward and actually defend this child.
He might be able to get a good lawyer pro bono.
Actually defend him to do what's right. And not just be up there just because. And get him the best deal if he is not found not guilty. Get him the best deal. Other than that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you just now jumped on this feed, today's feed was White is Right, is White Right. And we was talking about Carmelo Anthony.
Maybe
And
Carmelo Anthony will pay something on it, on his defense. I'm just saying.
yeah, we'll be back on here. We'll be back on here Freestyle Thursday. And then we'll be back again for Relationship Saturday. And I'm so mad that today is not Saturday because I really want to go through those cards.
Mannish tail.
No, these.
Oh, okay.
What? You call me mannish. I'm talking about these.
You agreeing? You the counterpart. You.
oh, I'm agreeing that she managed.
Exactly. You are the
He
counterpart.
know better than that.
You talking about?
He misses what he is. I was talking about these cards right here, the date night card, because I'm just curious what else is in here. But they're gonna have to wait till Saturday, so I put them up so I wouldn't be tempted to grab one.
Yeah, because we probably would have and we'd been here to 7:00. No, we got to go to work tonight.
But other than that, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, if you haven't done so already,
Misha called in. Misha called in. Shorty.
take a moment out of your day to like and subscribe to the page. I am here on Facebook as Snack Cackle Talk and on YouTube as well as Snack Cackle Talk. And that is Cackle with a K. Okay. Once again, thank y'all and have fun like we have fun. And we will see y'all next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Really.